victimized by the oppressive, harsh realities of the hood. I guess even though we were free, we were still slaves in the mind.
Message!
For some in America, it has been difficult to understand why many Black people don't trust the COVID-19 vaccine.
The healthcare system that is untrustworthy and has been for African Americans since the inception of this country, that's something that most of us, including myself, were taught as young children. Just because there's a vaccine, there's a pandemic, and you want everyone to take it, you can't flip a switch on that quickly.
That distrust is rooted in a history of racist healthcare practices that are often epitomized by one example, the Tuskegee syphilis study.
The NBA is not requiring players to get vaccinated, all right? But the Players Association estimates that between 85-90% of their players are vaccinated, okay? But that's still a decent number, 10%. That's a decent number. It's about 50 guys who aren't vaccinated.
COVID vaccine boosters are in the forefront this morning following the CDC endorsement of the extra shot for some Americans. President Biden saying he'll get his own booster soon, but there's still confusion about the decision making behind that rollout, and we'll get to that in a moment with the former CDC director.
Yes, that's coming up. The current CDC director, by the way, Dr. Rochelle Walensky, has signed off on the booster plan, but warns that the U.S. cannot use boosters to get past the pandemic. The U.S. cannot use boosters to get past the pandemic.
Wait a minute! Who are you?
Allow me to reintroduce myself by name. Tabby Troll, baby. Roll with me, show the world, hit the road, baby. Huh? Count team, baby. Hit me up, IG, follow me, baby. Huh? Ain't on the pill, but I'm rolling.
Yeah, I went and got vaccinated. I had to, man. Trying to run these numbers up for booster bags, bro. I had to get vaccinated. Shit got me feeling better, too. I went and got vaccinated.
Yeah. I told y'all, man. Tabby trolling. Back again. Best rapper on YouTube, hands down. No questions asked. CEO, Clout Team Entertainment. I told y'all, man, even the boule ain't safe out here, man. Kyrie Irving. Now, y'all seen my last video with Andrew Wiggins. How Stephen A just threw the man up on the bus, talking some trade the man. But we all know Stephen A has an agenda. But New York City, as well as San Francisco, has a law that if you attend or participate or even host a large venue, you have to be vaccinated to attend that venue. And being that the Brooklyn Nets play in New York City, of course, Brooklyn, that means Kyrie Irving could potentially miss 41 game checks, well 43 because he goes to 42, my bad, because if he goes to San Francisco for the Warriors, can't play them either. Now I know these NBA players make about 200, almost 300 million a year. Not a year, I'm sorry about that. About $300 million total, like 40, sometimes $50 million a year. And it might seem like a drop in the bucket, but 41 game checks, bro, that's, hey. So not everybody's talking about some trade Kyrie for Ben Simmons, which I think it was a good trade, but I don't think Kevin Durant will have that. And I think Kyrie Irving will probably retire. I digress. So let's go ahead and just break down the situation with Kyrie Irving with our first piece of video. Let's get started.
NBA is taking the stance of whatever the state or city, their rules.
They have no choice.
That's what we're following, right? And so in New York and in San Francisco, you have to get vaccinated.
Of this weekend, 75% of the eligible population has had at least one shot.
But over the last 3 weeks, the rate of vaccination in the U.S. has dropped 37%. Health officials insist the top priority remains getting the unvaccinated their first shots, even as boosters roll out across the country. ABC's Phil Lipoff is following the latest developments. Phil, good morning to you.
Whit, good morning to you as well. Thousands of locations all across the country have begun to administer those booster shots, like this Duane Reade behind me on the Upper West Side of Manhattan. But as you mentioned, the vaccination rate in the nation has begun to drop. So the CDC says these boosters have now become an additional line of defense against COVID.
For 40 years, the federal government deliberately withheld treatment for syphilis from hundreds of black men in Alabama, allowing them to go insane and even die. One of those men was Head's father, Freddie.
What was so terrible about that was, first of all, they were not told that they were being studied.
The study ended in 1972, only after the Associated Press broke the story, prompting public outrage. Before that, there was J. Marion Sims, an American physician hailed as the, quote, father of modern gynecology.
Speaking of the Nets, we are 4 weeks from the regular season, and the Brooklyn Nets are the betting favorite to win the NBA title, according to Caesars Sportsbook. But the New York City vaccine mandate is affecting the Nets' ability to practice with a full roster, as Nets GM Sean Marks explained today.
Obviously, I can't get into details for a variety of different, whether it's HIPAA violations or whoever it may be. I think we all understand what's at stake. You know, we've had very candid conversations. Those are individual decisions that whether it's a staff member or whether a player has to come to terms with. It's obviously out of our control. We are supporting getting the vaccination and putting out a healthy squad. And so at this point, I think we're ready to go into the season. We don't see these, whether it's a citywide mandate or whether it's the league mandate to follow, being any sort of hindrance to us putting out a team. Regarding could they play today, I can't comment on whether who could play and so forth. There would obviously be a couple of people missing from that picture.
Stephen A., our good buddy, said today if Andrew Wiggins doesn't get vaccinated, Rob G., correct me if I'm wrong because I didn't see it, you told me, that he would trade Andrew Wiggins. Is that correct? Okay. Well, Rob, Kyrie is believed to be unvaccinated as well. And this is tough. If I'm the Nets, I want to run it back. We weren't healthy last year, so you didn't really get to see the big three together. When they were together, it was magic, 11-3, I believe, including the playoffs. But if I were the Nets, and let's say Kyrie insisted on not getting vaccinated, because he might get vaccinated, and so might Wiggins. You know, we don't know.
Yeah, when push comes to shove, Chris, they just have to I'm going to lose money. This is not, I'm going to be in a no man's zone. And it ain't like
my team.
90% of the league is unvaccinated. Then you would be, you're in the minority.
Right.
Victimized by the oppressive, harsh realities of the hood. I guess even though we were free, we were still slaves in the mind.
Message.